days gone by, a union was formed between gods, and it gave birth to the wisest of entities. But somehow, despite this, he had the shortest life of any god. How could this happen? Well, gather round and I'll tell you of his fate and the mead which was formed from his essence. The Aesir-Vanir War had concluded with the creation of Kvasir. Kvasir was a being with both Aesir and Vanir inside, and he proved to be the wisest of them all. Everyone wanted to hear what he had to say on every single topic, so Kvasir traveled across Midgard, granting advice to all who requested it. Eventually, Kvasir was invited to a home owned by two dwarves. He entered their house, conversed with the owners, and in one split second, he was slain. Unbeknownst to the slain god, the dwarves were known as Fjalar the Deceiver and Galar the Screamer. The son of all gods dead, the dwarves collected his blood, letting it slip into two vats and a kettle. They blended it with honey, and the outcome was a mead who gave any who drank it the intelligence of a scholar. The mead was then dubbed Odrerir, or the Stir of Inspiration. Eventually, the Aesir and the Vanir wondered where Kvasir had gone, to which the two dwarves stated that he choked upon his own wisdom. Afterwards, Fjalar and Galar invited the Jotun Gillinger to their home. They rowed him out to sea and willingly capsized the boat. Gillinger, unable to swim, perished soon after. The dwarves then informed Gillinger's wife, and she wept. Fjalar told her to look out towards the sea at the spot where her husband perished, and then he spoke softly to Galar with an order. Galar proceeded to let a millstone fall right onto the wife's head, and soon the couple were reunited in death. But this caught the attention of her son Suttungr, and he seized the dwarves, binding them to a reef as the tide came in. Of course, the dwarves pleaded for their lives. They squirmed and begged and bribed until finally Suttungr agreed to let them go, but only under the condition that the two would give him the mead they created from Kvasir's blood. Immediately, the two monstrous dwarves gave it up, and they were let loose from the reef. Suttungr hid the vat of mead in a chamber beneath the mountain, and had his daughter, Gunnlod, look over it. Eventually, the Allfather Odin caught wind of the Odrerir mead, and in his infinite search for wisdom, desired a drink. Taking on the guise of a wandering farmhand, Odin went to the home of Suttungr's brother, Baki. But instead of finding the giant, he found 9 servants tending to the farm, all mowing hay with their sickles. Seeing they were having trouble, Odin approached the servants with a whetstone and offered to sharpen their tools. They agreed, and then were transfixed by how well their scythes were able to cut through the hay after using it. The servants reapproached the disguised Odin and requested to buy the whetstone. Suddenly, he threw the stone into the air, and the 9 servants scrambled for it, accidentally murdering one another with their scythes. Baugi returned and saw only the disguised Odin and his 9 servants killed. Odin stated he was Bolverger and offered to do the work of the 9 servants. However, he then asked if he could have a sip of the Odrerir as payment. Bucky revealed his brother wished to keep it all to himself, but then promised they would go later on to at least try to convince him. Odin understood and agreed to do the work regardless. The seasons passed and Odin fulfilled his end of the bargain, tending to the fields and doing the work of the 9 servants. Odin and Baki then ascended the mountain and confronted Suttungr. Angered, he turned them away. So instead, the two snuck around the mountain and entered a chamber underneath the vat's room. Odin provided an auger or drill named Rati and proceeded to penetrate the rock, during which time Odin discovered Baki wished to betray him. They only had to forge a tiny hole that led to the storeroom, and once completed, Baki tried to kill Odin with the drill, but he transformed into a snake and traveled through the hole. Once entering, Odin took the form of a charming young man and approached Gunnlaud, Suttungr's daughter, who also guarded the mead. It didn't take long for him to win her favor and secure a promise that he would sleep with her for 3 nights, and she would grant him 3 sips of the mead. 3 passionate nights passed, and in turn, she granted him the 3 sips. But without warning, Odin consumed not 3 sips, but all 3 of the vats in 3 immense gulps. In an instant, Odin changed form into an eagle and escaped back to Asgard. Suttungr, enraged, also took the form of an eagle and pursued Odin. Like the Aussie, the two hurled across the cosmos. But unlike the former chase, Suttungr nearly caught Odin, forcing him to relinquish some of the mead for the Jotun. But still, the Allfather evaded Suttungr and returned to Asgard. Odin then coughed up a majority of the mead and stored it in the Golden Palace, giving it only to those who he deemed worthy, though of course, the Allfather kept a few sips for himself, so he may have the power to answer any question bestowed upon him. But now the gods had to direct their attention towards re-establishing their home, especially in repairing their wall, the subject of my next myth.